Welcome back to Dow Twang. I'm Dave. Day 3 of the 14-day challenge to improve basic soloing skills. For the next few sessions, a little less talk and a lot more action, okay? You just saw a demonstration of what the goal is for today. Get a routine going for a dominant 7th chord, practicing at arpeggios, chord tones, however you want to label it. And I don't mean that we're just going to blaze through this stuff without explanations and definitions. But if you watch the first two, then hopefully you're on your way to, kind of sorting out a method of a process for yourself based on your own understanding and sensibilities that allows you to put any of your guitar information that you consume in there and get it worked out, get it sorted, have a way to practice, have a way to go back to it each day and make sure that you're building on that. All right? So that's the extent of my pitch on all of that for today. If you haven't seen day 1 and day 2, you're joining us for the first time, great. Go back and check it out. Basically, we've done a major triad routine and a minor triad routine. And like I said, today we're going to add the flat 7th to the same major triad that we have been working on, which is A major. So now we'll be playing an A7, okay? 2 types of 7ths real quick, generally speaking. There's the major 7 and the minor 7th, or it's a lot of times called the flat 7th, okay? So on day 1, we used the major scale, A major scale, series of whole steps and half steps that by definition create the sound of a major scale. And we pulled the 1st, 3rd, and 5th tones out of there and made our A major triad. Root, 3rd, 5th, A, C sharp, E, in the case of A being the root. Okay, then we did, on day 2, we basically did the same stuff using a minor triad. We did it on E minor, right? And we made some routines using a couple of different parts of the neck to practice this stuff and emphasize using repetition and not just always the notes in sequence, but different kinds of up and down patterns and, repeating the same note a couple of times. And we're not going to go through all of that today, but just as an example. All right. That's kind of an example of where you should be or be headed for, at this point in this challenge, right? Don't worry what it, don't judge it, but just that's, being able to use a couple of different positions. It's all spelled out in those first 2 videos, and move around and do a little bouncing and doubling up on the notes and so forth. And sometimes what I do a lot is as I go, I just stop and I just play just the triads. Or sometimes if it's an extension, a different type of arpeggio. As I'm doing this stuff, I do this every day. This isn't something I do and then I move on to the next thing. And then after so many years of it, I'm graduated to, this is like, every day, if I need to, you know what, I take that back because I'm kind of not telling the truth. A lot of times I skip all my warm-up and stuff and just try to get stuff done. And things don't work out as well. The creative stuff doesn't come out as well. I'm not as relaxed. I'm not warmed up. Just like anything else. Warming up so important. So this series will give you a really good foundation for all of that. Now, A7, okay? Let me pull up get my diagram up here so that when I'm talking about it, I'm more accurate if I'm looking at it. Later on, I'll drop it into the video for you. So we just mentioned the major scale and how we pulled the root, third, and fifth out of there, all right? So if we weren't playing a seventh at all, it didn't really matter what the quality of the seventh was, whether it was a major seventh, a flatted seventh, and so forth. And again, if some of this sounds familiar, but you're not sure exactly what it means, Mixolydian, don't worry about it right now. It'll make sense. Trust me, just keep going. So for now, what we need to know is that we're just going to play those red notes on the diagram there. But just for a little bit of context, if I take that do, re, mi scale, but we play a flat seven, see how that G is no longer G sharp as it would be in the do, re, mi scale. The major scale is just G natural, it's flatted. Okay, when you make if you look at that as sort of an aerial view of a chord, just look at, a lot of you are familiar with that. So I'm going to put my pinky over there on that G on the 8th fret of the B string. Now I get this really strong voicing of a seventh, a dominant seventh chord. Okay, so the arpeggio for that is our triad that we're now familiar with, right? And we add a seventh above the fifth. A flat seventh to be exact. In the same business, don't worry about your fingering. Don't worry about sliding around on different strings and stuff. Let your ear be an equal part of this process. Only use the diagrams as long as you need them to get it going, and then don't sit there and stare at it, okay? Don't make that your routine, right? This is really important. I'm not going to go on a big rant about it. Do not sit there and just stare at that thing all day. That is really, will really hold you back. Learn it, use it, repeat it each day. Trust me, it'll work. You won't need it. And you'll start discovering where those notes are on the instrument in a whole bunch of other ways, okay? Be patient with yourself. So in that demo, what I did was, here, let me put another slide up here. Actually, I'm just putting it up for myself, but later I will put it in the video for you. Same business here, okay? I just labeled them root, third, fifth. Again, you won't see that, but I pulled up the major one. Here it is, a 7 arpeggio. If it doesn't say major 7 or any other specification of the 7th, it's a dominant 7th, right? If you just hit D7, it's D with a flat 7, okay? A with a flat 7. So now it's the exact same constellation arrangement of notes with the same color coding, but it's just labeled as roots, thirds, fifth, flat 7, okay? Now, I'm going to leave it up to you to remember we want to do 2 positions for each one of these stages that we're doing in these sessions, right? So that's this one. Looks like I didn't put that up there, but you could reach up there and play that next C sharp. Then if I go up to the next triad tune, root, major third, fifth. How do I know that that's correct? Not because I have an infallible memory. No, it's right. I know it because it sounds right. That's what you need to be shooting for. It'll happen. When I get up here, this was the other position that we used for our A major triad. Okay, trying to look at my screen and my guitar. Sometimes it's like a regression, like I'm looking at my guitar in the screen, and all kinds of weird stuff. So same thing up here. I'm gonna leave it up to you. Insert that flat 7 in between the fifths and the roots, right? Get that worked out. All right, let me know. Put something in the comments. You're just like, man, I'm trying. I'm working on it, but need a little boost, and I'll make another slide like this for this position. All these slides are in a folder on my Google Drive. That the link is in the description of each one of these days of the challenge. Okay, each one of these videos. So now, here's what you saw in the intro. And I've got a backing track that I'll also put, either make a separate video for it and put it on YouTube, or I'll at least put it in the folder on the Google Drive for you, okay? So I started off by just going... Okay, A7 arpeggios, okay? Going through those two positions and kind of making it into a circular pattern there, right? That's a nice little routine. And then I think I did something like that, right? If not exactly like that. And, maybe you, like we did with the triads, you feel that feeling of 3, that's called a triplet. You could do that, it won't be a triplet because there's 4 notes now, but you could chunk out a little. Get it done. If you need to go out of position or you run out of notes on the high string, you get up there and sort it out. I got lucky. If I'd have hit the wrong note, my ear would have caught it, and I'd have make the correction. You will too. Okay, then I think the last thing I did, and this one's kind of more of a pattern. Now, this is one of the things that is really fun, I think, about self-teaching. And you can get this out of books and a lot of videos and things too. But I've just been making up my own version of this repetitive stuff my whole life. Early on, I guess I got it, sometimes we would get, Guitar Player magazine or something, me and my brother, man, this was a long time ago. And there'd be some exercises in there or something. Tiny little print that you couldn't even read, like a comic book, almost. And we would sit there and just, try to decipher that stuff. And sometimes they'd put some crazy, some outstanding solo, Alan Holdsworth, solo in there with a tiny little tab, drive you insane, But I just started making this stuff up, and here's one that I really like. Okay, so with this groove, we could go up, something like this. Whatever feels good to you. Okay, just, spend time and just get relaxed with it. If you want to do it slower, or any of these slower, but divide the space. With that groove and that bass and drums and stuff going, you start to, you don't even think about it, but you just start to play in more of a groovy way, right? Do some of it off to the side too, just to kind of get it mechanically put together. And going down, to just the triads. Okay, don't get carried away. So that's it. You're adding that flat seventh to that previous A major triad and just getting deeper and deeper into your own routine. Be sure to check that folder if you want to see all the slides that we've been using. Okay, appreciate you all. See you back here for day 4.